Chapter 31. Arachne. When we get back to the cabin, the place smells awful. Whatever Talitha has cooked up smells horrendous. My stomach lurches and I nearly vomit when we walk in. Yeah, it's not pleasant, Talitha says, but I wanted to make sure it was strong enough. She stirs a dark liquid in a giant black pot in the fireplace. As we enter, she retrieves the bag of groceries from my father and begins opening things one by one and adding them to the mixture. Holding my nose, I walk over to get a closer look as she stirs the strange liquid. What are we going to do with it? I ask, hoping that I don't have to do anything with it. I don't want it anywhere near me. I'm going to drink it. Not all of it, only a glassful. Just as soon as you tell me that Fred has started talking again. I shudder at the thought. Bad things happen when Fred talks. Talitha reaches out and grabs my hand to get my attention. Missy, be sure to tell me as soon as Fred says anything at all to you. I will, I promise. But what is going to stop him from hurting you? I am going to call upon the spirit of Arachne. She will protect me. Who is Arachne? She is the mother of all the spiders. Arachne used to be a woman. She was a great weaver, but she was proud and claimed to be the greatest of all weavers. The great goddess Athena heard of Arachne's boasting and challenged her to a weaving duel. They both weaved and weaved many great designs, but Arachne's weaving turned blasphemous. Athena weaved a warning, but Arachne ignored it. Athena then cursed the woman with a touch of guilt, but it was too much for Arachne. She became consumed with guilt and killed herself. Athena felt sorrow and took compassion on Arachne, resurrecting her as the first spider so that she and her descendants could remain as great weavers. So you see, Arachne is the mother of your Fred. But she is no longer proud and will take pity on your plight. She'll protect us. Daddy and I stay with Talitha at the cottage while we wait for Fred. We don't want to risk being away when it happens. We spend the afternoon helping her tend her garden. My jaw drops open whenever I see Talitha walking about with perfect confidence, unafraid to run into anything, even though she can't see things the way that I can. She tells me the names of the plants in the garden and points out the weeds that need to be removed. How do you see without seeing? I ask. Because even though I can't see things, I know where they are and what they look like, just how I know where you are and your father. She points at each of us in turn, and where Fred is. Can you see Fred? Not the way that you see him, but I know where he is, what he looks like, and I'll be able to hear him when he speaks to you if I'm close enough. My throat tightens as tears well up in my eyes. I feel less alone knowing that someone else can experience Fred too. I've waited my whole life for that. And you'll be able to stop him? I'm not really trying to stop him. My goal is to help complete him. Tomas returns shortly before dinner, asking if there has been anything new happening. Just waiting, Talitha tells him. We eat dinner outside tonight as the horrid smell of what's cooking on the fire kills the appetite as soon as you enter the cottage. By the next day, I'm already in love with the place and wish I could stay here forever. There is so much for a little girl to do out here, and I feel safer near Talitha. The three of us were able to thoroughly weed the entire garden the previous day. I learned how to milk Talitha's goat Calliope. Daddy spends a few hours in the morning chopping wood for Talitha and repairing a weak spot on her roof. I wander about, trying to stay close to the house as I'm afraid of venturing out into the woods. What if Fred gets me alone and decides to eat me? Talitha is my only hope for safety, so I stay close to her. I sit down on a stump and stare at Fred, hoping he will speak, yet dreading it happening. Bad things happen when Fred talks. He isn't my friend anymore. He is an evil, evil creature. I don't realize that I've been staring at Fred for hours until Tomas comes back for dinner. Still nothing? He asks as he gets out of his car. I just shake my head. The smell of the simmering potion has changed as it cooks and condenses. It is so thick now that it makes it difficult to breathe when you get close to it. Talitha adds to it now and again when it is looking low. We all sleep in Talitha's room that night so we can shut the door against the smell. I again wake up in the middle of the night when I am uncomfortable and unable to move. Fred is laying on my legs, but this time he is halfway up my thighs. My heart pounds as the moon through the window shines off his eyes. Is he going to suffocate me one of these nights? Just creep up further and further until he is laying on my lungs and I can't breathe? Talitha stirs in our bed and sits up. She turns her sightless eyes in my direction. They glow in the moonlight. I want to plead for help, but I don't know if she can help me. Can she make Fred move off me? Talitha noiselessly slides out of bed and comes to stand by my head. She reaches out her hands for mine. I place mine in hers, and she effortlessly pulls me out from underneath Fred. Without a word, she walks me to her bed and cuddles me until morning. Fred stays on the floor next to me. Feeling safer than I have in weeks, I fall into a deep sleep. When I wake up the next morning, I'm sure that Fred is going to talk today. His appetite has gotten more intense the bigger he gets. To pass time, I help Talitha with morning chores. After we've cleaned up from breakfast, I'm free to do what I want with myself. My dad continues helping Talitha get her cottage ready for winter. I don't know how else we will be able to repay her if her plan actually works, he told me. The morning passes so slowly. We eat lunch, and after, I head out to my stump and sit and stare at Fred. I don't know what else to do. The intensity in the air is building and is nearly as suffocating as the reek of the pot Talitha continues to cook and care for. Whenever the smell wafts out to me, I shudder. What is she going to do with it? She can't be thinking about drinking it, can she? Especially at this point. I may just gag watching her do it. I'm envisioning it when a voice in my head pulls me back. Feed me. I jump up, excited and terrified. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for these past couple of days. I almost don't want to tell anyone. Who knows what is going to happen? But this is my only hope of salvation. I run to the front door. My father, who has expanded his roof repair project, sees me and calls out, "What's wrong, Missy?" Fred talked, I yell up to him. He scrambles down the ladder as quickly as possible. Talitha, I call out as I run into the house. She comes out of her bedroom rubbing her eyes. Her hair is all tousled in the back. Oh, sorry, I woke you up. I was just resting, saving my strength for what is yet to come today. Did it happen? Did he talk? Her smile is expectant and encouraging. Yes. Wonderful. She walks across the room and retrieves a wooden cup. I can get started with the potion, but we'll save the main event for when Tomas gets here. He may be important. I watch her as she ladles out some of the horrible liquid until the cup is mostly full. What are you going to do with that? I finally ask. Drink it, she responds. What's in it? Mushrooms, and the items you and your father bought the other day, and some other things, but the mushrooms are the important thing. How are mushrooms going to help us? I'm used to eating them in my eggs for breakfast, but they never did anything that would prepare me for dealing with Fred. What do they do? What don't they do? She says. They enhance our senses, open up our world. I need to expand my world to allow Fred to come to me, to talk to me. Tell me what we can do that will satisfy his deepest need, the one that has been neglected. She's been blowing on the hot liquid and takes a sip now. Yeah, that's potent, she says. Daniel, do you mind fetching the mouse and the spider for me? We need to make sure that everything is ready when Tomas gets here. My father gets the little cardboard boxes that the two creatures came in from the pet store and sets them on the table. The mouse is afraid, Talitha says, cocking her head toward its box. It can smell the spider. Poor thing. I can't feel too badly for the mouse as my own spider danger looms near. We sit in silence for hours. Talitha gets up and refills her cup now and then. Sometimes she sits and sways, humming to herself. Every now and then she laughs or giggles aloud. Suddenly she stands up and says, Tomas is almost here. Let us ready the rest of the potion. The rest of it? I wonder aloud. Yes, we need to add the special ingredients now. She opens the box with the tarantula and lifts it out. I have a moment of nostalgia seeing the little tarantula. Why couldn't Fred have just stayed my cute little friend sitting on my shoulder, sleeping on my pillow next to me? Talitha uses a pair of tweezers and plucks a few hairs from the tarantula. It struggles after the first one, but she gently holds it in her hand without allowing it to escape. Is it going to bite you? I ask worriedly. Nope, she says, putting a third hair into her cup. She then places the spider back into its box. Next, she picks out the little mouse. This isn't going to be as easy for you, little friend. She holds the mouse up to her face as if looking it in the eye. We appreciate your sacrifice for us. She kisses its little head before holding it over her cup and slitting its throat. I cry out, surprised and disgusted. I look to my dad. His eyes are wide. When he sees my horror, he squeezes my shoulders. We have to believe that Talitha has this under control. Once the blood coming from the mouse slows, Talitha puts it back in its box. She picks up her cup and holds it out to me. I'm afraid that she is going to tell me to drink it, and I know I can't. My stomach turns at the thought and smell and lurches towards my throat. I swallow against the threatening vomit. There is no way. Spit, she says, though. I look at her, confused. Into the cup. Spit into the cup, missy. My mouth suddenly feels dry. I spit, but hardly anything comes out. Again, Talitha says. I work up a little more saliva and spit into the cup again. Good, she says, and takes it over to the fireplace to fill with more of the dark, smelly liquid. She fills the cup and sits down to drink it. She is about halfway through when Tomas pulls into the driveway. I'm relieved to see him, feeling safety in numbers. He walks in and sees us all sitting around the table. His eyes get wide. Is it time? Yes, Talitha says with a slow nod of her head. Fred is closer to our world now, close enough to be heard by Missy. This is our time to talk to him. I'll need your help. Take a sip. She holds out her cup and Tomas takes a drink. I'm relieved that I haven't been asked to have any of it. The smell of the pot on the fire and the thought of the mouse blood in the cup continues to make me ill. My stomach swirls within me and adds an occasional flip-flop for good measure. My mouth is dry. I want to get some water, but I'm afraid of interrupting whatever is coming next. Talitha jumps up from her chair. We need to light some candles and cover the windows. No outside light. The spirits don't like the sun. My father moves to close the curtains as Tomas lights candles. The shutters, Talitha says, on the outside of the house. Close them. They're made to cut out all the sunlight. Her swaying motions have become much larger, and I worry that she may fall over. My father heads outside to close the shutters. Tomas has the house lit up with candles and begins to light incense there. The air is thick and smoky and makes me cough a little. I want to go outside. I want to be in the sunlight. I don't want to confront Fred in this dimly lit, claustrophobic atmosphere. But if I go outside, Fred goes outside. The walls of the cottage feel close in on me, and Fred is taking up the most room of anyone here. In the tight quarters, he stands closer to me here than seems normal. His 8 legs are spread out in different directions. The top of him comes almost to my waist. His fangs are inches from my thigh. I tense, expecting a bite at any time. It has been at least an hour since he first spoke to me, telling me to feed him. He isn't patient. There will be retribution if I don't obey, and it won't be just a small bite on my ankle. This will be a deep, vicious cut on my upper leg. Would I bleed to death from it? Talitha begins to hum. My dad is back inside from closing up the house. He sits next to me, his arm protectively around my shoulder. Do you think this will work? I whisper to him. He looks into my eyes and shakes his head, rubbing at his eyes. I don't know, he whispers back. I'm suddenly terrified of continuing. There is no such thing as good magic. If there was, then my mother would still be alive. If there was, I would be at school today playing with Becky, and I would go home and sleep peacefully in my bed tonight. And Fred would still be small enough to sit on my shoulder. He would never have hurt me. But Talitha is magical. She's already drank the mouse blood and spider hairs. She made a concoction of the most foul smelling mushrooms ever to expand her senses and talk to Fred. Even before that, she could see Fred and me. I don't want her to get hurt. Someone is going to get hurt. I have made up my mind to tell Talitha to stop. It's okay. She can't help me. But at least no one has gotten hurt so far. Then I look down at Fred. He wants to eat. I need to take him far away from these people. I care about them. Fred needs food, but I don't want it to be another person that matters to me. Arachne, Talitha whispers. Arachne, she repeats louder. Arachne, she is calling out now. Arachne, mother of all spiders, we wish to talk to you now. Great goddess of the spiders, we need to entreat you about one of your descendants who has lost his way. We affectionately refer to him as Fred, as we have not the wisdom to know his true name. I look at my father. He pats my shoulder, but does not take his eyes from Talitha. She is coming, Talitha cries out excitedly, turning her head. Her whole face lights up. A small giggle escapes her. Oh, great Arachne, I never imagined your beauty. I am honored above all my ancestors at this privilege. She leans forward in a bow and cocks her head as if listening. Then she reaches her hand out towards her cousin. Tomas, I need your help, she says. Tomas moves to her side. How can I aid you? Arachne cannot see Fred. She says he has moved too far from the spider spirit world. We need you to be our go-between. I cannot be in his and Arachne's world at the same time. You must bridge the next span. Tomas picks up the rest of Talitha's wooden cup and drains it. Then, as if he has just realized something, he asks, You really see Arachne, Talitha? I do, and she is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. Talitha stretches out her arm, caressing something the rest of us cannot see. She is the most vibrant orange, with gold bands along her legs as if she is wearing great golden bracelets. Arachne sounds to me like one of the first spiders that I noticed missing. She was so beautiful. Why couldn't she have stayed behind instead of Fred? I looked down at the giant tarantula at my feet. Where once I thought of Fred as cute and cuddly, he is now a huge, horrible monster. For the first time, I noticed that Fred is no longer solely focused on me. He's watching Talitha and Tomas. This is shocking, as Fred never acknowledges other people. I take a long, shuddering breath. Maybe Talitha knows what she's doing after all. Tomas, Talitha calls out. Arachne says we must make a physical connection so she can speak to Fred. She is moving closer to me now. Talitha looks up in wonderment, as if watching a great spider position itself over her. I'm jealous. I want to see beautiful Arachne and have her settle over me as a great protecting spider spirit. Maybe I should drink some of the potion left on the fire. Maybe that would let me see. But I don't move. Tomas, you must sit at my feet. I will put my legs around you, Talitha says, and you will put your hands on Fred. My heart pounds. If Tomas can actually touch Fred, then I know that the nightmare is over. If someone else can touch Fred, then Arachne is real, and she can speak to him. She'll set him right, as queen of all the spiders, and I will spend the rest of my days seeking her, to thank her and worship her for saving my life. I never want her to leave my side. Tomas moves to the floor in front of Talitha, and she wraps her legs around his torso. I can't hear Arachne, Tomas frowns. No, Talitha says. You cannot come that close to her world in order to bridge the gap. I will need to be her voice for you to relay to Fred. Make contact with him now. Tomas looks up at me. Okay, Missy, I need you to bring Fred to me. Torn and fearful, I walk closer to Tomas, thinking Fred will move as well. I can't see how this will work, but I can't imagine how it could fail. We have the goddess of the spiders here with us, helping us. I almost believe that I can feel her presence. I turn and see that Fred hasn't moved, even though I have. I am nearly standing on Tomas's lap. Come on, Fred, I coax. I move beyond to the other side of Tomas. At some point, Fred will retake his spot at my side. Not once do I ever remember him not following me. Surely, if I leave the room, he will move. At least then we have some sort of progress. I keep inching away, one eye on Fred as I move further and further away. Soon I reach the doorway to Talitha's bedroom. But Fred hasn't moved. Is he afraid of Arachne? Maybe I should comfort him instead of forcing him. I return to him and stroke his long body. It's okay, Fred. She is here to help. We want to understand. We want to help. I don't know how to explain the situation to him because I don't understand it myself. Let's go talk to her, I say, pushing at him a little. Come on, Fred. I move behind him and try to push him forward. He doesn't budge. I look to my dad for help. He just holds out his hands helplessly. You have to do it, Missy, Talitha says. You can do it. Not knowing what else to do, I walk to Fred's hairy front leg and push it forward a few inches. He shifts his weight, balancing. I move to the next leg and inch it forward. Fred repositions again. I walk around him and do the same to the front two legs on the other side. With each movement, Fred doesn't resist, but he doesn't make it easier for me either. I've never paid attention to the order in which Fred moves his legs, so it is up to me to guess. I return to the first side and move the back two legs forward a little. Then I do the same to the other side. Looking up, I evaluate the progress that I've made. It's small, but it is there. Good job, Missy, Talitha approves. Keep moving him closer to Tomas. Following the same pattern of two front legs, the other two front legs, two back legs, the other two back legs, I continue to inch Fred forward. The heat from the fire in the closed up cottage is stifling. I'm sweating and struggling for breath. Fred's once soft body hair is coarse and sharp against my body. Where my skin is bare, it scratches me, leaving long red marks. But I keep at it, inch by inch, because what else is there to do but trust the adults? Suddenly, Fred takes a step on his own. I cheer out, Yes, Fred, that's it. Wait, Talitha calls out with obvious concern in her voice. I look at her to see if she is telling me to wait. She's the one who told me to move Fred in the first place. But Talitha is looking up above her. Wait, Arachne, Talitha pleads, her hands folding in front of her. I beseech you, great goddess, do not leave us. Fred takes another step forward. Talitha reaches out her hands to a retreating spirit. Please, she yells, you must have more patience with us. We are but mere mortals. Fred takes another step forward. He is at Tomas's feet now. Wait, I say, putting my hand on his front leg, expecting him to listen. Talitha told us to wait. With two more steps, Fred is covering Tomas's legs, which extend before him as he sits on the floor with Talitha's leg wrapped around him. Wait, Fred, I call out, more urgent this time. Wait, Talitha screams. The sound of her voice in such urgency scares me, and I scream too. I don't even notice when a third scream enters our chorus until I stop, but the third scream continues. I look down and see Fred with his fangs sunk deep into Tomas's thighs. No! Talitha calls out. She is on her feet now, trying to drag Tomas away from Fred. I let out another shriek. This can't be happening. Blood is pouring down Tomas's legs from either side of Fred's fangs, which remain in his flesh. Tomas is flaying his arms while his cousin has grabbed him by his shoulders and she tugs on him futilely. I begin beating on Fred's head, but he isn't fazed. There is a horrible sucking sound coming from him. Talitha's hands drop to Moss and she begins batting at herself. No, she calls out. No, you don't need to do this. I'm just trying to help you. Her hands go to her throat. I scream again, realizing that Fred is consuming her, too, using the little spiders. My father snatches me up and runs from the house. He carries me to the car, buckles me in, and we drive away. For a long time, I cry hysterically. Everywhere I go, we cause death. I might as well have told Fred to eat them. Either way, they are dead. I cry myself to sleep, leaning against my car door. When I awake, we are back at a hotel parking lot. My father is opening my door and unbuckling me. For a moment, I think that we drove away and we were able to leave Fred behind. He was still inside the cottage when we pulled away. He was still there, draining Tomas and Talitha. I turned my head, needing to know if we had gotten away. But Fred is in the back seat with me, bigger than ever, staring at me with his 8 eyes and a little dried blood on his fangs. Unable to help myself, I scream at the horrific sight. Chapter 32. The Restaurant. I sleep, and when I wake, I cry until I fall asleep again. I don't know how long this goes on, but when I feel Daddy stroking my hair, I sit up. Fred's still there. He means nothing more than death to me now. He is grown again. I instinctively move closer to Daddy's side. How is this to end? Or will it? Are you hungry? Dad asks. I shrug my shoulders, but my stomach growls. I nod my head. What do you want? Order in or go out? The room is too small for the 3 of us. I need some air and some distance from Fred, however selfish that is. He has recently fed, so it should be relatively safe. Let's go out, I say. We go to a local diner, and I get a bowl of clam chowder with saltines. The soup sounds soothing to my upset stomach and calming as it reminds me of my mother. She used to make it all the time, but the restaurant version is disappointing. It is nothing like the way my mom used to make. Father is in no better state than I am. He just sits there picking at his food, his shoulders slumped, his eyes dark and tired. He is supposed to have the answers, but he doesn't. I imagine he feels as helpless as I do now. No more of his ideas. I'm going to have to figure this out by myself. There is a definite dent in the little spiders I have left. I wonder where they go after Fred uses them to eat, because they don't come back. And if they don't come back, then I will run out. And if I run out, how will Fred eat? Fred didn't need them in order for him to kill Tomas, or did he? I don't know for sure either way, but it is worth exploring, and I can't do it alone. What do you think will happen when I run out of spiders? I ask my father. He's staring out the window with a faraway look on his face. I don't think he heard me. Dad, I say, raising my voice a little louder. Dad! He doesn't move. I stand up on my side of the booth and tap his hand. Huh? He turns to me, his eyes slow to recognize me. What do you need, Missy? What do you think happens when I run out of spiders? I ask as I sit back down. When you run out, he mumbles. What do you mean, run out? Each time Fred eats, I have fewer spiders after. What do you think will happen when they are all gone? My father's eyes widen and look less dark and tired. That's it. You have to run out of spiders. Why didn't you tell me about this before? Because I didn't think it was important. Of course it's important, he says, looking into my eyes. It's all important, every detail, okay? I nod my head in agreement. Can you make Fred use these spiders? I think so. I don't think I like where this conversation is headed. How do you make that happen, Missy? My father is leaning across the table expectantly, his eyes intently on my face. I just have to tell them they can. I hang my head and my cheeks burn. I'm embarrassed at saying that aloud. It makes me feel responsible for all the deaths, except for Tomas and Talitha. I didn't see anything then. Then tell them to eat, Missy. I must have misheard him. My father would never tell me to kill anyone. Tell them to eat, and we'll be done with them. You'll be free of Fred because he won't need you anymore, and we can go home. My body starts trembling at the idea. Can my father be serious? I look up into his eyes and see that he is. Who am I supposed to tell him to eat? My father leans forward even more and whispers across the table. We are in a restaurant full of strangers. Tell them to eat anyone here. Everyone here. A tear rolls down my cheek. My father has gone crazy. I can't do that, I say too loudly. My father shushes me. It's okay. Yes, you can. It's the only way, Missy. Don't you get it? You just have to satisfy all of the little spiders, and then Fred will move on because you can't help him anymore. I'm all over what he's saying in my mind. It makes sense. If the spiders are gone, Fred will leave too. I know that. Something deep inside tells me that is true. But that isn't the right way to make them leave. I can't hurt all the innocent people here. Daddy grabs my hand, pulling my attention back to him. I can't stop the tears from rolling down my cheeks at what he is asking me to do. Missy, it's the only way, he says again. I look around the room. Across from us is a family that looked like the one I had. Mommy and Daddy are sitting there, smiling at each other. There is a dark haired girl at the table who is my age or a little younger, and in a high chair at the end of the table is a baby boy. My mommy and daddy had started thinking about giving me a sibling. I had heard them talk about it late at night when I would sneak out to listen to them. Mommy didn't want to tell me about it until it was for sure. A few tables down is an elderly couple with nearly matching short gray hair. They are somebody's grandparents. I still have mine, but I would be taking them away from someone else. Someone will miss them. At another table is a girl wearing a little dress that reminds me of one that Becky wore to school. This girl's dress isn't dirty and torn the way that Becky's was, but I barely notice these details through my tears. I look back to Daddy and shake my head. I can't. We can think of something else. It's the only way, Missy, he says soothingly. I have two voices fighting over me right now. One is my conscience telling me this isn't right. I can't do this. But the other voice is one I've always trusted above all others. It has never led me astray before. It will make Fred go away, my father says. To add to my distress, Fred begins to pulse next to me, as he does when he wants me to feed him. When he pulses, I must feed him, or he starts to hurt me. My heart picks up speed within my chest. I remember how deeply his fangs pierced Moss's legs. It would take a lot more than a few bandages to clean me up if he decided to bite me now. I wipe my hand across my brow, not realizing that I'm sweating until it comes away covered in perspiration. Daddy keeps whispering to me that it's okay. This is how we make it end. Suddenly, he sits up and is quiet. I turn and find our server standing by our table. Is everything all right? She asks. We're good. Everything is fine, Daddy responds. But the server doesn't move. She is looking to me for an answer. I gaze up at her, my mouth agape, my eyes confused. Something on my face scares the lady, and she takes a step back. But she doesn't want to fully abandon me yet. Little girl, are you all right? Do you need some help? She's fine, my father snaps at her. She turns to him. I wasn't talking to you. Now, looking back at me, she says, Little girl, do you need some help? Is this your father? My father jumps up. What are you implying? That I kidnapped her? Look, mister, you need to calm down. She takes a step back. I need to calm down? You are asking if I kidnapped my daughter. She's fine. She's just had a rough day. Even in the large dining room of the restaurant, the walls close in on me as they did back at the cottage. I cringe, knowing that Daddy is upset. He usually doesn't talk to anyone like he is now. Fred is pulsing wildly, his eyes getting bigger, bulging out, then growing smaller again. Sir, I need you to sit down, or I'm going to have to call the police. Police. That word brings things into focus for me. If they are called, they will take me away from my daddy, and he is all I have. I can't let them take me away, no matter what. We have to stick together, or I may go crazy and end up in a padded room, unable to move, staring at Fred for the rest of my life. No, no, you can't do that. My dad is pleading. He sits back down. We're just fine. See? Missy is just fine. He points across the table at me. The waitress is scared. I see that in her eyes. I know what scared looks like. She's going to call the police no matter what now, and they will come just to check it out, to make sure that we aren't crazy people. But once they see us, they will know who we are and take me away. I have to stop her. There is no choice now. Glancing around, I see other people looking at us, pointing, whispering. I have to stop everyone here who may call the police. My insides knot up, and I clench my fists in resolve. Then I stand up and turn to Fred, who is pulsing madly, his body shaking with his bloodlust. Take her, I say, and my eyes drop to the floor in shame, my cheeks aflame. The waitress is still backing away, wanting to keep an eye on us until she is safely back in the kitchen. She only takes a step or two before she starts swatting at her body, trying to stop something unseen from crawling on her. But I can see them. Two of the spiders are under her clothes, two above them. She screams, but the sound slowly dies as she begins to lose the ability to take in any more air. Everyone in the restaurant looks up from what they are doing. There are a few on our side of the restaurant that can see us. They see me and the server falling to the floor in front of me. Someone reaches into their purse for their cell phone. Get them, I say to Fred sickly. I walk up to the hostess stand where the manager has picked up the phone. Get him, I say, and want to puke. I continue walking through the restaurant, sending the spiders to kill anyone who has picked up a phone to call for help. With each command that comes from my mouth, allowing Fred to feed, I'm more horrified. But I resign myself to finish what we've started. If this can end it, then let's end it. Finally, I can't move anymore. I can't send another spider because everywhere I turn, someone is dead or dying. Bodies line the walkways between the tables. It's too much, and I break down. Good job, Missy, my father whispers in my ear, lifting me into his arms and carrying me from the restaurant and out to our car. He buckles me in and we drive away. I stare blindly out the window, the tears in my eyes making the street lights long smears of color in the night. Sirens pass us going the other way, heading towards the restaurant. That was it, I think. That's what I had to do to get rid of Fred. I don't want to turn my head to see if Fred is in the car with me. I can't have killed all those people for nothing. There were so many in the restaurant, so many innocent people I just killed. But my window isn't covered with spiders right now. There isn't a single one that I can see the direction I'm looking. Maybe they are all gone. Maybe I used them all up. We could be free. I'm beginning to convince myself, to work up the courage to turn and see an empty seat next to me where there is no Fred, when out of the corner of my eye, one of Fred's little spiders crawls onto my window. Chapter 33. Strange Lady. I wake up, unsure of where I am. The room has a great vaulted ceiling. There are drawings, paintings, and photographs on the wall. One of them is a simple self portrait I drew at least a year ago. Fred is on my shoulder in the drawing. I recognize other artwork from my cousins. We must be at my grandparents' cabin. I feel a cool breeze through the slightly open sliding door on the side of the room, which leads out onto a small balcony. From memory, I know that there is another double bed like this one on the other side of the room, on the other side of the stairway. There are stairs that go up one more flight to a much smaller room that has only two small twin beds and a few small drawers. Across the room, near the other bed, is a small bathroom. That door is partially open, and I hear the water running. Daddy must be taking a shower. I close my eyes, and some of what happened last night comes back to me. I hear the people screaming in my head. I see them struggling for breath. I caused so many deaths last night. How could I have been so cruel? Then I remembered that I was trying to use up all the spiders. I was trying to end it all at once. From where I'm laying, I know I didn't succeed. There are a few spiders above me on the ceiling. I sit up and see a few more on the walls around me. Not many, but they are there. I lay back down and put my face into my pillow. It's all so horrible. Maybe Daddy was right going to the police in the first place. But they should have locked me up. Put me someplace that I can't cause any more deaths. Tears sting my cheeks, and my throat aches as I try not to cry. I need to pee, so I sit up and go to swing my legs over the bed, but I stop in alarm and let out a shrill scream. I knew Fred was going to be bigger after consuming so many people at once, but I wasn't prepared for how big. He is taking up the entire space between the bed and the wall. He is almost the length of the bed and nearly the height of it. His eyes and legs are enormous. I jerk my feet back and sit huddled up at the top of the bed, staring at him. My father runs out of the bathroom soaking wet, a towel around his waist, a plunger in his raised hand, ready to attack an assailant. "What is it, Missy?" he asks when he sees me. I can't respond immediately. I'm just sitting there horrified, staring at Fred. My father moves to walk to me, lowering the plunger. "No!" I scream, and he stops moving. I scoot to the other side of the bed so he can come near me without getting so close to Fred. He sits down on the bed next to me and holds me to him. I'm getting wet, but I don't care. "I know," he soothes, stroking my hair. "Last night was awful. I won't ever put you in that situation again." Last night was awful, but that horror is now over. Fred is still here, and I don't know how to stop him or escape from him. I shake my head to tell him he has it wrong. "It's Fred, Daddy," I finally manage to say. My father tenses and looks around. "What about him?" "He's huge. He's so big and scary now." My father looks around, but of course he can't see him. We sit there until I have calmed down. "You gonna be okay now?" my father asks. I nod my head and do a final wipe of my eyes and face. "I gotta get dressed after I rinse the soap out of my hair." He sets me down and returns to the bathroom. I find my bag and change my clothes. Then I sit and wait for Daddy, staying as far from Fred as I can. While I wait, I try to count the remaining spiders. As I do, I notice something that turns my stomach. One of the spiders has built itself a little white nest in a corner up high beyond my reach. I groan in despair. "They're having babies?" I want to scream. Maybe it isn't one of Fred's spiders. I feel the slightest glimmer of hope. Maybe that was already there. If it is one of Fred's spiders, then I must find some way to kill it, or the nightmare will never end. Fred can make me keep feeding him forever, and he'll keep getting bigger and bigger until he can devour the whole world. The churning pain in my stomach tells me this is most likely the truth. There is only one way to tell if it is a normal spider. As soon as my father comes back out of the bathroom, I ask him, "Can you see that?" I point up to the spider nest, wishing and hoping. "What am I looking at, Missy?" My heart sinks. "The spider with the little white ball of eggs?" My father takes another good look at where I am pointing. "No, I'm afraid that I don't see anything spider related on this wall. This can't be happening. I have to see if we can get rid of it. I can't reach it. I bet you could get it with the plunger. It's in the corner." My father retrieves a broom from a small cleaning closet near the bathroom. "Let's try this first. I don't think we need a dirty plunger all over the walls." "It's almost all the way up, by the ceiling," I direct him. "Yes, you are right over top of it." He scrubs at the wall with the broom, but when he removes it, the nest and spider are still there, undisturbed. "Did I get it?" my dad asks with raised eyebrows and a hopeful smile. "No," I sigh and hang my head in defeat. "Let me try. Will you pick me up?" He hands me the broom and lifts me into the air. This has to work. The broom in my hand closes in on the spider that just sits there. But suddenly, my father is clutching me tightly in his arms as he lands on his butt on the floor. "What was that?" he asks, alarmed. I see Fred, standing close now, so close that he could have reached out a leg and knocked Daddy over, or ran into him with his head. "It's Fred," I whisper, afraid to say it too loudly and without the heart to speak up. "He doesn't want us to disturb it." I'm a little grateful that my dad can't see Fred right now. If he could, I'm sure it would scare him. And I couldn't stand seeing Daddy afraid. I'm scared enough for the both of us right now. "Well, then I guess we leave it alone," Daddy says, standing up. "For now." He turns to me. "Did you get hurt?" I shake my head as a negative. "Come on, let's go downstairs and see what we can do about some breakfast." I follow Daddy down the stairs, and Fred follows me. I'm surprised that Fred can even fit down the stairs. I sit at the table at one end of the kitchen while Daddy explores the pantry. He pulls pancake mix and syrup out of the cupboard. "We'll need to go into town for milk and eggs, but it isn't far. Why don't you get your shoes on?" I wander to the front door, but only see Daddy's shoes there. "Where are my shoes?" I call out. He comes around the corner with a confused look on his face. Then he remembers. "They're upstairs, by the bed or something. I carried you in and took them off before I put you to bed." I run up the stairs, trying not to pay attention to the giant arachnid soundlessly following me, but I'm really creeped out by Fred now. At the top, I am distracted by the pictures on the wall. I wander around looking at each one. There is one of me playing in the creek with Grandpa. I've always enjoyed coming here, but we didn't come out this last summer. "Did you find them?" Dad calls up the stairs. "My shoes," I remember. I run across the room to retrieve them. "Got them!" I yell back and run down the stairs. As we walk out the front door, I see a bee sitting on the front railing, sunning itself on this chilly fall morning. "Daddy, a bee!" I call out, alarmed, remembering why Mommy didn't want to come out to the cabin. She said there were too many bees and Daddy is allergic. "It's all right, sweetheart. It won't bother us if we don't bother him. Besides, I've got an EpiPen with us." I don't know what an EpiPen is, but if Dad doesn't think the bee will hurt him, then I guess it is okay. I look up from the bee and find Fred standing in front of my car door, blocking me. Um, I say, a little confused. He has never stopped me from getting in the car before. Daddy looks over the hood of the car at me. What is it, Missy? I can't get in. Why? Fred's blocking me. Come get in on this side. I run around the car, but Fred stays between me and the car. He is blocking the other back door by the time I get there. Daddy, he won't let me in. My father comes and picks me up, but when he goes to open the back door, it won't open. I can see Fred's leg in front of it, stopping it from opening. What the fuck? The swear word slips from his mouth, but I don't mind because I am confused and upset too. Why is Fred doing this? I grip Daddy's shoulder. He doesn't want you to go anywhere? My dad wonders. It's because he can't fit in the car, I realize aloud. My dad's eyes widen in alarm. How big is Fred right now? He's big, Dad. Too big for the back seat. My dad rubs his forehead. We stand there for a minute while he thinks. I guess we just walk then. Good thing it's only about 2 miles to town. I'm not upset about the idea of walking. I have a warm coat, and the sunshine is really warm too. Just a couple of minutes down the road, we pass a strange house. I know I've seen it before, but it is really interesting, so I take my time staring at it. The windows are boarded up. A car filled with stuff sits in the driveway with boards around it. There is even stuff on the car. There are lots of signs in the driveway and along the fronts in the front. What do the signs say, Daddy? I'm too worn out to try to figure them out for myself. Keep out? Why do they want people to keep out? They don't want you to touch their stuff. Then I noticed the woman standing in the driveway. She had been so still as we walked by that I almost didn't see her. Her clothes are big and dirty. Her hair is plain and straight and a dark sandy color. When I look into her eyes, she holds up her hands, each with only the index finger extended, and crosses one over the top of the other. Then I realized that she wasn't looking at me. She was looking slightly behind me, at Fred. Daddy! I call out, catching up with him. He had kept on walking while I was staring at the woman. Daddy, she could see Fred. Daddy glances back over his shoulder at her, but she isn't in her driveway anymore. She could see Fred, Daddy. I doubt it, sweetheart. She's just a weird old lady. We should probably leave her alone. We continue, but I can't stop thinking about her. Maybe she can help. Someone has to be able to help. Daddy, what does this mean? I hold up my hands the same way the weird lady did. It's the sign of the cross. It's to ward off evil. She made that sign at me. That wasn't very nice. Actually, she made the sign at Fred. Well, we know that Fred doesn't care for the crucifix, so he'll probably leave her alone. On the way back from the store, I'm hopeful for a glimpse of the strange person who can also see Fred. How am I going to be able to find a way to talk to her? I can't get any answers from Daddy. I'm beginning to think he doesn't have any. He won't tell me how long we are going to stay at the cabin or what we are going to do next. At least no one can get hurt with you here, he told me. I'm sitting outside on the deck by myself, my penguin icy in my hand, thinking about the flaw in Daddy's plan. There aren't many other people around for Fred to hurt, but Daddy is still here. Fred could hurt him, and I wouldn't be able to stop it. I couldn't stop him from hurting Mommy. I feel like I need to go talk to the strange woman down the street. She had to have seen Fred. She wasn't looking at me when she made the weird sign with her hands. I look in the closest window to see if Daddy is watching me. There is no sign of him. With Icy in my arms, I tiptoe off the deck and run around to the front. Still no sign of Daddy, so I make a dash for the street. I don't stop running until the cabin is out of view. I'm glad that Fred makes no noise as he runs, because just being able to see him with how big he has gotten is scary enough. He follows me down the road, never more than 10 feet behind me. It isn't far to the messy house with the strange lady. I'm hoping that she'll be outside when I get there, but no such luck. All the signs that say keep out are still there. I feel bad for walking down the driveway knowing what they say, but I have no choice. The front steps creak as I walk up them. The owner must know I am here if they are home. I bang on the front door, dancing from one foot to the other. When no one answers, I knock again. I turn and look to see if the car is in the driveway. It is, so I know she must be home unless she went for a walk. Come on, I say aloud, wishing she knew how urgent it was that I talk to her. When there is still no answer, I move to the window, which is covered up by boards nailed to it from the outside. I stand on my tiptoes and can see through a crack at the bottom, but there are more boards or something on the inside, blocking me from being able to see anything. I check to see if the front door is locked, which it is. With a huff, I head around the small house looking for another door. I pass by a second window on my way, but I can't see anything through that one either. At the back door, I don't even try to knock. I just turn the knob. Surprisingly, it is unlocked and the door opens. When I look up, I'm staring at the muzzle of a rifle. What do you want, Spider Girl? The lady says. There is nothing friendly about the furrows on her face. Please, I say, can you help me? Help you what? Get free from him? I point to the massive tarantula behind me. What makes you think I can help you? I look at my shoes, wondering the same thing for a moment. Then I remember why I even came in the first place. Because you can see him too. Please, you have to tell me what to do. I saw you make a sign at him yesterday when Daddy and I walked by. The lady lowers the gun slightly and stands up straight. It is pointed at me, but she is no longer looking down the sights. I don't think you're going to like what I have to say, but we can talk. She points to two dirty white plastic chairs close to the side of the house. Outside, though. I don't want that monster in my house, and I don't think you can come in without him. Thank you. I go and eagerly sit down in the flimsy chair. The lady keeps her rifle on her lap and her eyes on Fred as we talk. So where did you find this monstrosity? I tell her the story, all of it, about the doctors and accidentally killing my mother because I was afraid of being taken away, about the priests and Tomas and Talitha, about how the little spiders are reducing in number as Fred gets larger, and finally about the restaurant. She listens thoughtfully as I pour out my story and many tears, but she doesn't seem affected by it. I was preparing myself for her to be horrified or to tell me that I had to leave. When I finish talking, she doesn't respond. I want to be polite if she is thinking, so I sit in silence for a while, gazing out into the woods, my feet swinging back and forth in the air. When I can wait no longer, I ask the most pressing question in my mind. Do you think he'll leave me alone when all the other spiders are gone? I highly doubt it. He'll still need to feed, and apparently he needs someone else to command the other spiders for him. He won't survive on his own. I want to cry. So I'm stuck with him forever? Not necessarily. These other spiders, have any of them reproduced? I don't know the word reproduced. What do you mean? Have any of them had any other spider babies? Oh no, I don't think so. Not yet, anyway. But one of them did lay eggs. Fred won't let me touch it. She shakes her head. There you have it. It won't be over this way. Those spiders are just going to keep laying little spider babies for. She waves her gun in the tarantula's direction. Fred to use to feed himself with. So I'm stuck helping him kill people for the rest of my life? A lump forms in my throat, and I feel as if a bunch of rocks has just been dumped into my stomach. I'll kill myself first. Now you're starting to think, the strange lady encourages. Will you do it? I turn to her urgently. What? Kill you? Yes. I don't think I could do it myself. You have a gun. It would be fast. This is my chance, right here and now, if I am brave enough to take it. She could hide my body and no one would ever know. No way. Why not? You said I had to kill myself. She points one finger at me, her eyes never leaving Fred. Yes, I said you have to do it. She risks a short glance in my direction. Fred has done everything he can to protect himself and his ability to get more food. Do you really think that he's going to allow me the chance, no matter how fast a shot I think I am, to pick up my gun, turn it around to your direction, and shoot you? He'd be on me so quickly. No, it won't be that easy for you. What do I have to do then? Use the spiders. She stands up. What? How? I jump up, not wanting to be done talking. I haven't found out what I am supposed to do. You're a smart girl. You'll figure it out. She is climbing her back steps. I stand at the bottom of them, watching my last hope right now leave me. Now don't come back, she says, slamming the door. With downcast eyes, I shuffle my way to the cabin.